Blue Lock Chapter 327 Part 2 has just released. Side B continues as Nagi Seishiro returns to the manga, and he meets Kira Ryosuke for the first time. Nagi and Kira's whole teams are revealed. We get explanations on the first selection game, as Side B finally begins with crazy plot twists towards the end. If you didn't know already, this chapter is a Part 2 from last one, so again, only 10 pages long. It is for a holiday though, so they deserve the break. But this chapter for only 10 pages was so hype with so many questions and so many things to talk about, so let's jump into it quick. The chapter picks up right where we left off. Shindo points out that someone is here before them, and just look at Kira's face. Bro already got sweat dripping at the sight of Nagi. He can't believe what he's seeing and saying, seriously, you're that Nagi Seishiro as one Bachara victim recognizes another Bachara victim? I still can't believe bro's sweating at the sight of a Nagi. Did boss music start playing? Is he feeling the aura after opening the door? He's treating Nagi like the boogeyman. Shindo got the wide eyes and everything, saying that he's the one who dropped out at the ranking cutoff. We see another player has entered the room, and he's shocked to see Nagi too. But peep Shigeo Mizuki in the same room as Kira and Nagi. My glorious goat even got some dialogue, asking what's about to happen. He didn't even care that Nagi was there. I'm telling y'all, Kaneshiro is updated with the memes because he knew we all love Shigeo Mizuki. Yes, we, you and me. Trust y'all, he's gonna be the one getting that second side B spot. In fact, we're gonna get a Shigeo Mizuki volume cover. Just look at that insane build. It's perfect. We also see Timu Nerutepe with a haircut point at the screen as it says, change into your bodysuit and wait. The next page shows Shindo dripped out and he looking fresh, I can't lie. He points out that there are 13 people in the room, Roger, as the rest of the players are revealed. Some of these players y'all already know aren't making it past day one, like they're the stereotypical NPCs you see in animes, but we got some familiar faces like Hajime Nishioka or Aomori's Messi. And this is a pretty big reveal because we've never seen him once play in the entirety of the manga, and he was here till the Neo Egoist League. So after 7 years of the manga, he's actually gonna touch the ball. I never thought I would see the day, to be honest. The Nishioka stocks are higher than ever, and I guess the few Nishioka fans are very excited. Karasu from Dollar Tree, Timu Nerutepe, and Toya from Wish is also here. That's about it for the standout characters, and nobody cares about this Clarence lookalike. Shigeo's taking all the aura. As Kira puts on his suit, he tells Nagi, more importantly, why is he here? And we get the first Nagi and Kira interaction, and he just says Kira is being rude. And since earlier, he was talking so bluntly, even when it's their first time meeting. Nah, Nagi is already on demon time calling him out. One chapter back into the manga, and he already looking primed up. This was the second selection of type of Nagi we all loved. Bro got Kira apologizing in no time. Kira continues on though that he wants to know more about him fighting against that damn Isagi Yoichi, which piques Nagi's interest, asking if he hates Isagi. He responds back saying that he hates him, and that he hates him so much that it drives him insane, even getting the black text box and everything. A black text box in a manga is the equivalent of an IRL crash out. In fact, I would say Blue Lock is infamous for using it. Kira's eyes even turn different, which is pretty interesting to look at. But seriously, this gotta be the most one-sided beef ever. Isagi is popping a champagne with the Blue Lock boys after winning against Nigeria, and Kira has been applauding his revenge, holding on to the 7-year beef, while he's not even a thought in Isagi's head. It's also funny that he lost all recollection of Bachara trying to eliminate him. In fact, I would say Bachara had more of a role in Kira's elimination than Isagi himself. Come on, Kira, you gotta be equally as mad. Also, is it just me, or Kira trying to aura farm is diabolical? I'm not gonna lie, I think the elimination really made everyone not scared of him. He's really trying his best to look tough even after all that aura loss. In the background though, Baratsuta appears on the screen saying hello his geniuses. As Nagi and Kira look up, the next page reveals Baratsuta taking up the whole damn screen and saying Side B's first selection is the bird cage. So now we're actually getting into the game itself. We see the other players' reactions, including Nishioka, which still doesn't feel real he's here. We then get the rules for the game with Baratsuta saying it's simple simple. Anyone chosen must pick one partner, and that will be the bird team. The remaining 11 players will form the cage team, surrounding them in a circle, and that's when the game begins. He continues that the 11 cage members have to pass the ball around and not let the 2 birds steal the ball. Conversely, if the 2 birds steal the ball, they win, and the time limit is 136 seconds. Alright, to put it in simpler terms, this is pretty much a monkey in the middle. Don't let the people in the middle get the ball, but with football instead. Barou really threw in a bunch of fancy words to make it seem like some innovation that excites. This is the same energy as making your job sound better than it really is. There's a little more to it though, with Barou explaining that the 2 who succeed advance to the next stage, and if they fail, they return to the cage and repeat the 136 seconds. New birds are chosen, and the game restarts with the first 3 pairs moving on. So in other words, only 6 out of 13 players will survive the first selection, which is pretty interesting. I thought more people were gonna get eliminated, to be honest. Off the top of my head, it looks like Nagi, Kira, Shindo, and Nishioka, and 2 other players are making it. I'm hoping one of those are Shigeo. Please, Kaneshiro, we need Shigeo to survive because that would be so funny. It's said that the bird role, or the person in the middle, is decided by order of entry, which means the first bird is Nagi Seishiro. And bro starts immediately aura farming by stretching, with his aura coming off of him, saying he sees, okay, it's been a while since this feeling. If you're a Nagi fan, you are jumping out of your seat right now. And me personally, I'm curious to see how Nagi plays with his new ego and motivation. This is gonna be cinema, folks. The game is about to start. Barou says, now then, Nagi must pick the partner who will fight alongside him, and out of all 13 players, Nagi chooses Kira Ryosuke. Oh my god. We actually got the white-haired duo. And now, this all but confirms Kira is surviving the first test for side B. He got a Smurf on his team. Someone's biggest fantasy came true today. If you predicted this back then, you gotta go buy a lottery ticket, because everyone would have collectively laughed at you for saying Nagi and Kira would have teamed up. It didn't seem possible. But here we are now. Nagi also adds that he grew up in BLUELOCK with Isagi, as his aura eyes pop up with him saying that's why he has to destroy him so bad. The ball drops and the game starts. Y'all, this is just too hype, man. I didn't expect to be that excited over this selection because I thought it would be a steamroll for Nagi. It probably still is, but honestly, it's a lot more hype. Shindo in the corner says Roger, and as the game begins, Kaneshiro baits us and doesn't show us the game again. Yeah, bro really got our hopes up and everything, but the last page is just as hype as we see Isagi Yoichi is in the locker room, and he looks over to see Jinpachi Ego himself, who calls out Isagi to ask if they can chat privately. Bruh, I don't know what's about to happen to Isagi, but after hearing those last words in the Nigeria game, I think Ego is about to slime bro out. Rest in peace, Isagi. He finally met his match. But for real, it looks like they're gonna have a serious one-on-one conversation, which has never happened in the entirety of BLUELOCK, Ego and Isagi talking one-on-one, so I'm super curious to see that. It's either going to cover their philosophies, or maybe how each of them think. As funny as it would be to see Ego humble Isagi, it would make no sense. Like, Isagi was actively trying to surpass the bar Ego set, so there is no reason for him to be mad or disagree. He'll probably caution Isagi based on his past experiences. Anyways, that wraps up the chapter, but I feel like there's a lot more questions than answers from this chapter, so there's a lot to discuss about. First of all, of course, side B and Nagi. It looks like Kira is almost confirmed to be passing the first selection since he's teamed up with Nagi Seishiro. So Kira getting a double eliminated theory is gone. Don't get me wrong, there is still a chance that Kira gets eliminated still. If you're a Kira fan, that's bad news. If you're a Kira hater, then that's good news. But there is a lot more selections to go through before the group stage ends. It's very 50-50 right now, but let's move on to the game itself. The monkey in the middle bird cage. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be off screen, but it might just be, which I'm personally not a fan of. I think they need to show this game. One, because it's a completely new game where they can show off the skills of the side B characters. Of course, most of them don't amount to any of our BLUELOCKers, but it's still interesting to see someone like Kira's skill, or maybe Nishioka, who's been a mystery for a very long time. Imagine if Shigeo gets the ball. And of course, to show a newly awakened Nagi Seishiro. What is he capable of now that he's coming from the ground up? I don't think it will be off-screen because it will be such a missed opportunity. Then again, all of the wild card was off-screen and we still haven't gotten a glimpse of it like at all. And with the chapter cliffhanger being Isagi and Ego having a talk, it might just jump over to them. I think what would be perfect is balancing between the two things happening at once. Isagi talking with Ego and then a Nagi playing the side B game and then tying their conversations together. Because next conversation is probably about the chapter title. Chapter 328 is titled God, which can mean a lot of different things. We know Ego before has mentioned himself as the BLUELOCK project's God. Buratsuta was hooting and hollering and saying the same thing. Another mention of God was through Nagi Seishiro himself, who said he is the god of the field. And it was also at a very important time during the second selection when he was developing as a character. That's why I think it will be a tie of Ego talking and Nagi talking. Ego talking about his philosophy, like I said earlier, maybe mentioning how Isagi plays how he used to play, and then tying into the side B game with Nagi talking to Kira. I imagine the side B birdcage monkey in the middle game will be a little challenging at first. I mean, there's like 2 minutes, so there's going to be some time to spare some dialogue between the two. During that time, we'll probably see Nagi talking about chasing the godlike thrill of football, just like he said in chapter 312 when he came back, then tying into the chapter name of God. To talk more about the birdcage game too, obviously Nagi is going to survive, and since Kira is with him, he'll probably survive too. But for who's getting the ball or winning that first selection game for them, I don't know if it's going to be Nagi showing off his skills or maybe Kira redeeming himself for the first chapter and passing the first selection. At the moment, I'm a little more interested in Nagi's character showing off his skills and winning the first selection game by himself, and then through Nagi winning the challenge, Kira can see Nagi's skills and how he fought against Isagi, which we knew he was interested in during this chapter. As much as I want to see Nagi more though, they'll probably show Kira's growth as a character and his skills, redeeming himself for the first game. Maybe Nagi is talking with him and it motivates him, leading him to get the ball and winning the selection for them. I don't know, that's why I'm literally saying there is so much to talk about, so many questions that this chapter created, and not to mention Isagi and Ego talking at the end of the chapter. That was an insane plot twist cliffhanger. There is just so many different possibilities that could happen with that as well. As funny as it sounds, and I saw so many people talking about it, no, Ego is not benching Isagi for that play or going against his plan, or at least I hope not. I don't even think he'll be upset with Isagi. He probably just wants to learn more about Isagi's philosophy during the match, and to be honest, there's a lot of evidence to prove so. Isagi's last goal was to prove that you should never be satisfied with yourself and always experiment. The complete opposite of Nagi Seishiro, who was satisfied and that's why Ego got on him. If that's the case, then Ego should be happy that Isagi is thinking that way, especially because they're about to go against the final boss that is France. I would probably treat it as a chapter where Isagi revisits his ideals, it reminds Ego of himself and his past, and Nagi and Kira completing the first side B selection game. Last thing I want to mention is 2 weeks from now, we are getting a break week for the manga, so no new chapter after next chapter. If that's the case, it will probably be an even bigger cliffhanger for next chapter, just so that we're excited for what's to come after the break. Just wanted to let y'all know too, in case you were wondering why there's no new chapter after 2 weeks. But that about wraps it up for this video. I'm super hyped for next week. All of our questions are going to be answered. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. YouTube really thinks you like this video right here, so be sure to check that one out too. I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.